Greenbacks, Alnico Blues. Which one is the best?
It's time to do.
Actually, scrap that intro. It shouldn't be which one is the best. It's about which one is right for you. Now, I'm going to do a lot of rambling at the beginning, so if you just want to get to the sound samples, I will put some timestamps down below, and I won't be offended if you skip. Just wanted to mention before we get started, I have also done a shootout between these Vox amplifiers that you can see behind me. So if you're interested in seeing that video, I will leave a link in the description below, and I will probably leave a link at the end of this video as well. So there are so many videos of Greenbacks versus Alnico Blues online, but I wanted to try it myself, because every guitarist is different. Every guitarist has slightly different preferences. So we're going to be using a Vox AC30, obviously. This one is from 2002. It's a Korg era Vox. These Voxes were made from 1994 to 2004, and a lot of people regard this as one of the best eras of Vox since the 60s. It's set up exactly the same way a 60s one would be. It's got the vibrato channel, the normal channel, and the brilliant channel. We're just going to be using the brilliant channel today for this demonstration. Now, when I bought this Vox, it came with Greenbacks. These ones. And these obviously have a distinct sound to them, and they work great in a Vox. But I wanted to try the Alnico Blues, because that's the classic option. The Blues are currently loaded in the Vox, which we'll be hearing first in the sound samples. But I also have, to throw into the mix, this speaker. Don't know if you can see that. This is a Jensen speaker. It is the C12Q. Now, I bought this speaker for a number of reasons, which I will get into right now. First of all, when I've heard demos of certain Vox amps, I love the sound of the Blues. The Alnico Blues, that is. I don't know what it is about certain Alnico Blues, though. Maybe somebody knows this. If you do know this, type this in the comment section. There's a certain rasp that happens in the top end, a certain artifact, and it sounds really cool to my ears. But not all Celestian Blues or Silver Bells have that. I don't know if it just happens in old models, whether it happens over time because of the age of the speaker, or certain eras of the speaker brought out in certain years have that sort of artifact to them. But it certainly seems to happen in some of the earlier Celestian Blue speakers that were brought out in the 60s. Now, these Blues that I've currently got in the Vox AC30 are modern reissue Blues, and they sound great, but they don't quite have that crackly, raspy top end that I've been talking about. Now, one thing that Jensen provide on their website, which is really, really useful, are sound samples of all of their speakers, which is obviously really, really handy if you want to make a decision on a speaker. I recommend you go check it out. So I ended up buying this one. And to my ear, from the sound samples, it had that characterful, raspy top end that I was after. And I thought this might work pretty well with a Vox. The other thing that makes this interesting is this has lower speaker sensitivity. So overall volume-wise, it's not as loud as the Blues, or indeed the Greenback, but it has higher wattage. These are 35 watts, I believe, these speakers. So that means this speaker will interact very differently with the amp than the Blues or even the Greenback. The other thing as well, this speaker literally weighs nothing. It's got a teeny tiny magnet, and actually when I hold this in comparison with the Greenback, shit you not, the Jensen literally feels like half the weight of this Greenback. If you don't know, Vox AC30s aren't exactly lightweight amps, so if you find this is breaking your back a little bit carrying this thing around, you could go for this, and this makes the amp significantly lighter and much easier to transport. Now, I've actually already recorded the sound samples for these speakers, and I was thinking of doing a conclusions part to the end of the video, but I thought best to leave you guys to decide for yourselves what sounds best or what you think is going to work for you. I will probably add some more of my thoughts in the description below. So if you want to check that out, please do. Let's hear the sounds.